Hi, it's Anne here on the Life LDC Knits YouTube channel. I just wanted to say hello to all of you returning viewers, and a big shout out to anyone who's new. I hope if you're new that you if you like what you see, please subscribe and hit the notification button to follow my YouTube videos. I just wanted to make a notation that I have done 70 videos so far. I didn't realize that. I counted them this morning. This is going to be my 70th. I started back a couple of years ago when Lisa Richardson was doing a crochet along, and for my own help, to help myself and anybody else doing it, I did detailed videos on each square. So it just sort of carried on from there, and I'm a particular fan of Rowan, so you'll see an awful lot of Rowan here. Today I'm following up on my two previous videos about Rowan Magazine 68. The first one I reviewed all of the designs, and then the second one I talked about the projects that I wanted to complete from this magazine and how I figured out the perfect size for me to knit, and also talked about whether I was using stash yarn or new stuff. So today's big reveal is my first finished object from Rowan Magazine 68. So I hope you'll get a cup of tea and sit down and spend the next few minutes with me while I talk about my first finished object. I'm so excited. See you soon. The first design that I really wanted to take on was this Kincardine. I love the look of it. I was a little bit leery about the fit on this ultra slim model, but I discussed how I thought in this case I needed to go, I'm sort of between sizes, so I needed to go to the higher size, the 44, 46 size. So that's where I went, and I picked yarn from stash, 3 shades from my stash. So are you ready? I'm so excited. Here it is. I'm going to walk back and forward and let you see the whole thing, how it works. So this was from stash. I used treacle as the main color, and you'll see that there's a little band of 2 colors on the edges, and I used cinnamon and watery. And then there is some beautiful embroidery on the neckline. I don't know if you're like me, but I'm always hesitant about these extra effort that's required in a design. I worry about whether or not it's going to be worthwhile or not. I decided to go for the embroidery because I thought it just added such a couture, atelier aspect to this sweater. And the hard part, I'll be honest, is just getting started, and I'll give you the hint of how I got started. If you look at the Ravelry listing for this design, Kincardine in 68, Galina Carroll has provided close-ups of her embroidery, and you'll see that there's these long ones, and then there's some shorter ones, and there's all sorts of little ones at the top. So I decided that the first point was going to be picking where these long ones went, and I didn't want it to be like 1 in the middle and 2 in the side. So I set the first one off center, and then went 5 points around the garment. So the front, one's off center, one's way off center, then there's 1, and then there's 2 on the back. Now I did all this, I posted it on Instagram, and Galina Carroll pointed out to me that if I'd done the branches with 2 strands of felted tweed, it would have shown up much better. I don't believe the pattern actually says that, so if you decide to do this, try that. But I'll be honest, I'm quite happy with the subtlety of the way this shows. You have to get up close to see it, but I just love it. So today I'm wearing it with skinny jeans. I don't know if I can get back far enough for you to see. I'll just keep smooshing back. Woo! Nope, maybe not. Today I'm wearing it with skinny jeans and boots, but I can see this with a skirt and tights or over a dress. It's loose enough that it just sort of falls and hangs, and so you can wear your top underneath it. With long sleeves, it covers up your arms, but I'm also actually thinking that you could wear this without long sleeves and maybe put some kind of wrist warmers here. I'm actually thinking you might make some wrist warmers to match. So I really sort of love this. Have you been looking at this design and trying to decide whether it's something that would suit your wardrobe, your personality, your, I don't know, is it something that you've been contemplating but just couldn't decide on? I hope seeing it on an actual person with some kind of with a body in it, it helps you to decide. Now this is done in felted tweed, and I just want to show you. I've got the for this year here, and don't forget, felted tweed comes in so many colors. I've been ticking off all the shades that I actually have in my stash. But in addition, this year there are 12 new shades of felted tweed, and they have been chosen by Kafe. They were chosen by Kafe. Remember last year he added brights? Well, I would say this is more of a it's almost a pastel palette, but then there's black, and there's scarlet, and there's French mustard. I keep wanting to call that vintage gold, but it's French mustard. There's some really beautiful colors here. Fjord, I love, and Ciel. Well, I love them all actually. Ultramarine. So in total, I think now there's something of felted tweed. So the body of this only takes six skeins of felted tweed, and the little accent colors take just a minimal amount, like maybe half a ball, not even that. So it's a really budget friendly actually. I think it's actually a budget friendly design, especially if you have a stash of felted tweed. Don't we all? All us Rowan knitters, we pretty much have felted tweed, I think. All of us Rowan fans have felted tweed, I'm pretty sure, in our stash. I just love this, and I'm looking forward to wearing it a lot this fall and winter. One final little twirl. So next time you'll see the second item that I have made out of Rowan magazine 68. Until then, take care, happy knitting. I thought you might like to see a close-up of the embroidered area, and these are the long stems that I'm talking about. What I did was I took stitch markers and marked around the yoke where I wanted these large or long stems to be. I did them first, and then I concentrated on the embroidery between each large stem or long stem, and that way I didn't have to overface myself. And you'll see I didn't make them each section match. This one's got a lot of little blue in it, and this one's got a lot of cinnamon, and same thing on the back. There's a lot more cinnamon than blue. Doesn't matter, you just want to make it reflective of a nice little custom embroidery. So everybody always likes to see what's on the inside, so I'm going to show you that now. True confession time here, guys. I tried to do the French knot thing, and I did do a few French knots, but I just found that it was taking me like 5, 6, 7 attempts to do a French knot, and they wouldn't stay positioned, they wouldn't stay, I guess, grounded in the knit fabric. And when I watch French knots on YouTube channels, you always could hear the real, you know, the click of the needle going through the really fine fabric. So what I ended up doing was I just made knots, and I'm good. That's a French knot, I think, there, but I will show you how I did a knot. This is really simple to do. I just took a piece of yarn, doubled it, and did a double knot. 1 time through, 2 times through, and gently hold it. And once I had that knot, from the right side, I would place it and use a needle on either side I'd place it where I wanted it, and I would use a needle on either end of the piece of yarn. Feed it through to the back. And then tie it on the back. I would do a double knot on the back and trim it off. I'm not going to tie this one on because that's not a place where I wanted a knot. So I think after I've washed this a couple of times, I will trim these down even closer, and they'll always be easy to replace if one of them happens to come off anyway. So I really think that made it much easier to do than doing official French knots. The chain stitch was no problem at all. Just YouTube it and you'll see how to do a chain stitch if you don't know how. So I love this, and I hope to get a lot of wear out of it. Let me know if you're going to do Kincardine. I'd love to see how you progress.